When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because FanDuel is your home for NBA live betting. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in Virginia. First online, real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey gang, Akil Stokes here. Welcome back to the Trading Coach Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the layers to mastering trading. We got a very awesome episode today. It's going to be one of our accountability sessions, meaning an interview with one of our aspiring traders, meaning someone that is going through the journey just as you are right now. And he's going to talk about what he's experienced and what he's going through and going to do in order to find his groove, his style in trading. So this is really good if you're someone who is kind of blindly going through the journey. Maybe you don't have a community or a support system that you think is good enough, and you're looking for some ideas of how you can be most effective and most productive with learning how to trade. Now, before we get into this, I want to share two things with you. One is an amazing quote from this interview, which I love, which is, "Knowledge is pointless without practice." And I love that so much because so many newer traders think, including myself, right? I was like this when I first started trading. We think it's as simple as learning as much as possible. I went through so many books, so many YouTube videos. I went through the whole course on baby pips, and I acquired knowledge. I even had coaching where I just acquired knowledge before I kind of took it seriously, right? And it gave me zero success, right? That knowledge is pointless unless you put it to work, unless you develop the skill, unless you practice the skill. That's why we say experience and time in the market is the best teacher. Also, I thought it was pretty cool that this trader was an audio engineer. For you guys that don't know, I used to do some audio engineering back in the day during my college days. And I really think it made a big difference with how I see the charts. For you guys that are unfamiliar with audio engineering, imagine like looking at wave charts over and over again, and you're picking out different pops and noises and stumbles and words and stuff like that. And I spent years producing music for people kind of staring at these charts, and it really gave me the ability to kind of see like inside the wave. Like I can see like individual words inside the wave pattern. I think that has a big effect on how I see the markets and why I'm so obsessed with like, you know, being able to pick out those tiny little clues within, a chart. It does nothing to do with you, just a little bit of self-reflection. Anyway, let's hop into the podcast and I hope you guys enjoy.
Good morning, all dialing in from Brisbane, Australia here. So it's the middle of the night here. No. Not at all. No, I wouldn't miss this. I wouldn't miss a session like this. I think, part of the challenges in all of these things in learning, as you just mentioned, there is also it's just turning up. If you got to turn up, you got to turn up to see success. You got to turn up to be part of it. If that means you're bleary-eyed or whatever, that's just part of the process. So, yeah, look, I came to tier 1 through the 30-day challenge, and I came to the 30-day challenge through the Trading for Dummies. YouTube for Dummies, awesome. Exactly. And so that was great. And something resonated. I'm going through some changes here at my work too. So I've been in research innovation in universities and industrial R&D for about 10 years, or for over 10 years. Corporate structure. So that's caused me to think about a few things too. So there's a number of us in my team who mostly our jobs are affected, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I think things will be all right, and I've already spoken to certain people in positions to to see what's next. So that's all fine. But it's just caused that catalyst for thinking of what to do next, and just obviously the ability to have a side hustle, the ability to the always free piece is really nice. I guess something great to aspire to, but also having that time. I think it was one thing I heard you said you had time where people would ring you up and they'd say, Jason, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And you'd say, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I've got time to do that. And I just thought that'd be great, because what I really feel like doing is helping people. Spending my time helping people. But the other part to that is you've got to make a living.
Yeah,
right. So you got to pay the bills and do all of that stuff. And I've still got kids to put through school and all of that. So, so if I can get a side hustle going, and what I've done is I signed up to Tier 1 31st of December. So I've given myself 12 months to work through everything. And the way I see Tier 1 third day is there's a lot of similarity. Obviously, there's a lot of you going over the same things. You layer and that information, in greater detail and depth, and going over the same things and reinforcing the same information, so that us, we can assimilate more deeply, and then it becomes ingrained, and it becomes habitual, and it becomes something that we know instinctively how to do trading. And so I'm about halfway. Yeah, exactly. Repetition. So about halfway through the foundation course at the moment, going through Akil's sections around reading a price chart. Really great stuff, because I picked up a lot already from 30-day, heaps in that. But what I'm getting in terms of, say, he's talking about the kill zone, and even talking about smart money, and mentioning aspects of how the market works, and how be prepared, to maybe get tricked out, in certain trades where you might think, oh, I've got to get in at this point now, where it might be, if you get your kill zone set up, it might be the next outside return that you're waiting for. So it's really, really interesting getting this more information, and I think it's been a great investment to come into to Tier 1. So I've got 12 months. Give myself that to see how it goes, and so far so good. Yeah.
Amazing, man! I'm so glad to hear that you're enjoying it, and so refreshing to hear that you've got such a realistic approach as well. Because even for us, we're only really interested in people who are going to take it seriously, because it's there's tons of people that want to learn to trade, or they think they want to learn to trade, but we really have done a good job of filtering out those who think they want it and those that actually want it. And it's such a great community, as I'm sure you've already seen. So you've kind of alluded to what your goal is. You want to bring in some more income, be more free and mobile and flexible and all the rest of it. That's perfect. Trading's the ultimate for that. But do you have any kind of, you said it's a year, so you're giving yourself a realistic time frame as well. Where do you see, have you got any shorter term goals? Like you're in the kind of foundation module now. Is there anywhere kind of in the year that you'd like to be at a certain place, or not?
Yeah, good point. I think, milestones in that 12 months, I think would be 90-day plan is great. So I'm busy working through that. From that, I'd want to be more clear on the market itself, the techniques, the practice, the art of trading, and then also some other strategies. I want to go back to back testing. I haven't spent enough time. So 30-day was great. I've got your original strategy there. I've gone through about 20 to 25 trades, around about sort of 40, 50%. I want to go back and do that more, and maybe look at some other strategies, because obviously trading's a very personal thing. It's everyone has their own style or characteristic of what they bring to it based on personality and psychology. I want to work out what the right feel is for me, and some of the strategies that you and Akil present, and then also things that other people bring to the table, and just see, not really cherry pick, but just kind of more just see what resonates. And then take some of those things and start to build that into my practice, and then test that and see what works. And if I start to find that working, then I want to just reinforce that, and then share that with the group and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And one of the things I like the community that you've created, particularly in the new app. I think it's a great way to be able to test what you've learned so far. And if you're right about something or you're wrong about something, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of getting it out there, so that people can say great, and they can run with it. They can say it's good, but you need to do this as well too. So it's probably just further along. I guess in the first instance, the first milestone is, does it resonate with me? But that's a bit of a straw man, because it does already. Look, as a former audio engineer, right, I've been staring at digital audio workstations for years, right? So I'm used to sitting in front of screens and seeing these crazy waveforms, and I know it's different, but there is a kind of analogy. So yes, there's that part, but then the next one would be what I just mentioned there, finding my niche or finding my groove in the trading practice and art based on the knowledge accumulated so far. And so some of that knowledge will be, you know, the market, how the market works itself. Some of it will be exactly everything that you guys are showing us. And then some of it will be my practice, my application, my testing and making my own mistakes and learning from those.
Absolutely.
So maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
Do that part.
So yeah, I mean, you've got, I mean, there's a lot to unpack on what you just said, but the whole backtesting piece and finding strategies that resonate. I mean, you're going to go through a whole module where we give you a big, long list of strategies, plus the backtesting goes really deep. You know, you're going to go into some rabbit holes with that. But what you say about, it's like learning anything. When to become like unconsciously competent at something, there's layers to that, isn't there? There's the theory, which is just taking in the information, the knowledge. And then there's having an unwavering competence in the knowledge. So like being able to answer questions like it's second nature. And then there is the skill of putting that into practice. So, I mean, I just use music as an analogy. You know, there's keys, and then there's knowing every note on a fretboard. But then there's also, once you know all that, it's still no good if you haven't practiced licks and chord shapes. And, you know, so there are layers to it to absolutely master something. And it's the same with trading. It's the same with everything. So we can give you all the knowledge. We can give you all the, you know, the practice. But you've got to go and put the time and the reps into the market to, you know, to unlock all of that stuff. Like you say, you're looking at frequency spectrums all the time. And I'm sure you've got your RAS kicks in and you see certain frequencies that are out and need adjusting and stuff. It's the same in charts. It's you need to build that. You need to develop that discretion. It's not something you can just be taught. It's something you have to learn over time. So a year to learn a year to learn the theory, a year to put that theory into practice, and then, you know, by the end of the year, you'll be in really good stead to move forward. And after that point, it will just be practical. You know, it will just be refining and discretion building. And another 6 months after that, you should be, you know, really in a good place.
Yeah, well, that sounds great. I mean, obviously, the next thing, you know, beyond that period would be the sharpening. You know, sharpening the saw, moving ahead and refining, as you say, and then also the community feeding back from, you know, other like-minded individuals around the globe who are, you know, looking at the same things and seeing things the same thing but from different angles. You know, providing perspectives and things that you just, because, you know, part of the thing that we do in research innovation is, you know, you don't create, you don't invade in a bubble, right? You need diverse input to give you those considerations feedback. Feedback. You need to check off everything. Right?
Definitely. But like I'm part of a mastermind group, and I'm in a chat with them now. And funnily enough, today, this group of people are all kind of doing, you know, maybe 150 grand to 600 grand a year. There's a couple of people doing 7 figures. And one of the questions that went in today was like, how do you go about reading books? You know, what method do you read books? What method do you find best? And one of my, someone who I'm very good friends with, he said, like, what I find is reading a lot of the time is a waste of time compared to doing. And it's funny because the couple or the few people that are doing over 7 figures in that group are all the ones that agree. They say, look, it's just about doing. You do, you know, it's not really about getting lost in reading and knowing the practical inside out, because you can know all the knowledge in the world, but unless you're out there practicing, that's when you get better. And that's the discretion part that you can't learn. You have to just go and do it. So that's why these accountability sessions are powerful, because if you tell me you're now going to make a milestone or progress towards a milestone, we can now get you back on and say, you know, what have you done? What have you actually done to move towards that milestone? And most of the time, the answer isn't, oh, I just read a book, or I just rewatch the lesson. A lot of the time, the progress comes from, well, I did this and I tested this and I done this, and so that's the key. That's the key.
Yeah, definitely. I think a big supporter of learn by doing. Yeah. Absolutely, you can put enough information in your brain, but
it can be dangerous. In trading,
you get to a certain point.
I'll tell you that.
You could be overloaded, right, with all that information that's coming in. As I said, literally drinking from the fire hose in all of this stuff. But at some point, you just got to put it down and just go, right, well, I'm actually just going to go back testing, sit on the strategy, and just check it out, bang it out, and see what it looks like at the end. So. Yeah, agree.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Look, that's cool. Look, I'd love to catch up with you again. Like as I say, with the same with
that'd be great.
Yeah, same what I just said with Sean. Couple of weeks, couple of months, 8 weeks, 6-8 weeks, or something like that. That'd be great. Just to keep it moving, keep it ticking along. That'd be great.
Hope you guys enjoyed. I know I did. I love hearing interviews like that. Again, nothing against interviews of great traders, but there's something kind of inspirational and motivational, like the chicken skin, whenever I listen to kind of traders going through the process right now, knowing that they're on track to be the next success story. So before you leave, do me a favor, rate, review the podcast, show me some love, and I'll see you guys next episode. Peace.